Okay, good evening, dear friends. This is the very last part of our program today, so congratulations for surviving such a long day. So we just want to congratulations to our colleagues and mindfulness teachers for surviving the day also. Alright, so as you can see right now it is in English because we want to use a common language to promote equality right now in a panel discussion. And right now there is a space for any question you might have. At the end of the day, you may focus the question to any one of us, or you can just focus the question to all of us, and collective intelligence will select the best person for answer. So, is there anybody who would like to ask anything?
Thank you. Well, my only question, first, I'm thankful to all of you guys to have taken part, presented, lectured, organized. And my first question, maybe I'll have some later. How did the idea come to you to organize this conference?
That's you. Collective intelligence, says Marek.
Okay, this is not such a hard question. As we started to found the Mindfulness Club like a few months ago with my colleagues, we said, okay, it would be nice to also have a conference. So we will have a one room and invite like 5 people, have some presentation, and then it started to accumulate, you know, the new ideas came, and I said, okay, this is maybe a bigger responsibility. So let's do it somehow bigger and better. So this is actually how it started. And me personally, I somehow felt that it is time to bring people more together. Because so far it was more like, I do my seminars, you do your seminars, maybe sometimes in 2 or 3. We just wanted to bring people together and to explore how the field looks nowadays.
Great idea.
Okay, any other question? Or does any one of you want to answer anything for this?
I can say one thing. Yeah. I think a lot of us, a few of us, some of us older ones, veterans, more experienced people, have been trying to get things going in Prague for some time, or in the Czech Republic, and it's been very slow development in mindfulness in the Czech Republic. But and it starts differently in different countries. But this is the first time I've seen a real initiative in a University of Economics. You know, that's like quite extraordinary. So it's very refreshing to see what's happened very quickly amongst a small group that's grown very quickly. So using Facebook and just getting people interested in different ways, it's really encouraging to see that. So you've done a great job to just pull everybody together.
Yeah.
What, in your opinion, is the most effective technique to learn mindfulness?
That's a humble question.
In my own opinion, of course I cannot speak for the others, it is actually very simply just try so much as you can to remember that you can be present even for a few seconds until some thoughts or other distractions will distract you and you forget about the present moment. Then again, just remember, I can be mindful for a few seconds, and you can do that everywhere, when you work, when you walk outside, when you sit in meditation, doesn't matter. Just remember, I can be present for a few seconds. Perhaps just breathe in, breathe out, and then try to keep mindfulness for even for a short time. Every second counts.
I must repeat this old cliche you probably also heard many times before, that mindfulness is not a technique actually, but it's a way of life. So I think there is no one technique that is like best for all. It's also very individual, and so nothing suits for all, and also there are different phases in our lives. So maybe in some part of our life, something works better, and in other part something else works better. So it's a tricky question actually. Yeah, but if you ask what is what I believe the most effective way how to get into this way of life, if you are brave enough, just go for a retreat, like a real mindfulness retreat, at least a week or 10 days better, or the longer the better. Mindfulness, in the secular circumstances, or even in Buddhist context, if it's a Vipassana retreat, even better. Yeah, or go for a 8-week course. Seriously.
And I would just like to add that also remembering as best you can that mindfulness, you already have it. It's already there, and maybe it's just certain techniques or practices that we need to help us to uncover it. But it's not something you have to get. You already have it.
I would just like to add that in my case personally, and what I also saw in participants of our trainings, people usually got the best progress when they just started to practice every day. Really practice every day, so it becomes habit, it becomes part of life. And I think that after half of the year of everyday practice, you can maybe somehow start to realize or uncover what technique really brings to you. And I personally do it like that I just says, wow, this is interesting, so let's do it every day. So I just do it every day despite the mood, despite the weather. But I also try to have joy in it, and then it starts to uncover its treasures. So I know this is individual. This is maybe not the universal recipe, but this is what works to me.
I guess I would like to add that to have a little bit of humor. Okay, just kind of laugh about the fact that it doesn't work today. Laugh about the fact that this technique is really not my way to go. Try more. Be curious. And just have a bit of humor.
Yeah, what works for me is also that when I have a negative thought, I know it's not really mine. I just pick it up from somewhere, from someone. So it's a part of mindfulness, I believe, as well, just when I have a negative thought, to send it away. It's just like this cloud that shatters your mind for a while, and just let it go. You don't have to personalize with it. You don't have to create a story about it. You don't have to say, I am this thought. You can just say, okay, I have it. Do I want it to ruin my day? No. So you just send it back. And that's it. This helps you to be in the present moment even more. You don't have to try, but when you don't get lost in your own thoughts, then you are naturally present. So this is the thing I do, what works for me.
Okay, do we have some other questions?
I have 2 questions. One's for Honza, and second one is for Sylvia. Here. Question to Honza. How do you feel during the practicing with prisoners? And to the Sylvia is when do you come to the break point, when you realize the university is not for you?
So first question, how did I feel it, or how do I feel with the prisoners? Of course, when I was there for the first time, I was completely like, how to call it, not scared, but really prepared for everything. I really didn't know what will happen. But after a short while, you realize that they are just human beings and actually very kind guys, very friendly guys. Even if they did what they did, but right now you can communicate and connect with them very easily, usually. And they are very open and very honest, most of them. So they can even say, if they don't like something, they will tell you. If they like something, they will tell you. That's very, like, I feel very free, in a very free and open relationship to them. So right now I really feel well and friendly with them.
You will in one room with the prisoners? You will practice in one room, or?
Yes, of course, but we sit in one room, yeah, with all of them. Yeah, there are no bars.
No bars.
They are not so dangerous.
Can I just ask you if I understood correctly? You were asking me when I realized that the university wasn't for me? Or?
Yes. When is the breaking point?
For me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I've always struggled with being in any kind of system. So I always struggled with any kind of schooling system, because I believe that the point is not to memorize things. The point is to understand things and to get wisdom, and it doesn't come from, memorizing something from books. It comes with life. But I always had it in my mind. I knew it, but I also thought that everyone has university, so I should have one as well. Or maybe my parents thought, okay, to be honest. But then when I was in China, I realized that actually I don't bring any value by being in a corporation, by being in a part of any system. I bring a value by being myself. So when I was in China, I realized this. I realized that I don't have to just continue living the path that someone else chosen for me. That I can make choice for myself that comes from within myself. And then I just knew that, okay, I will finish the university, but then I will go different life path than I wanted before. So it was in China when I was far away from everyone, when I was far away from these programs and patterns and so on.
Okay, do you see mindfulness as an end goal, or as I would say like the starting point, how to enjoy your life more or to live more?
So, like, is mindfulness the thing that is it the thing you're trying to get, or is it the thing that you start to get somewhere else? Is that more or less? I love this. Again, talking about the retreat I was on, the Thich Nhat Hanh has some beautiful books and sayings, and he describes mindfulness as both the fruit and the seed. So he talks a lot about planting seeds. So when you're doing a formal meditation practice, you're watering the seed of mindfulness. You're improving, increasing your ability to pay attention and to be in the present moment with kindness and compassion. So you kind of, like you're winding up a dynamo. You know, a dynamo for electricity. You're winding it up, and that has some impact in your daily life. So what you're doing in your formal practice then transfers. So the flower or the fruit that you get is that you become more mindful in your interactions and in your daily life. So I think it's both things at the same time. Both the thing that you use to get started, and it's the result of that as well. It's the feeling of being really connected in the present moment, which is very rewarding. You have to train it also, and you train it through increasingly becoming more attentive to the present moment.
Actually, traditionally, mindfulness is just one part of the whole training, of the Buddhist training. There are other parts and other skills which you can develop parallel with mindfulness. And the effect of mindfulness actually leads to insight. Actually, the word vipassana, which is also sometimes used for the mindfulness practice, means insight. And through insight, you understand what's really going inside you. And from the Buddhist point of view, the real goal is freedom. It's freedom from attachments to thoughts, emotions, to relationships, to anything. So this is through mindfulness, you are getting insight in yourself, and through insight, you will become free. So this is as my point of view of the practice.
There is also one translation of mindfulness as remembering. So it could be like more simply said that mindfulness is path of remembering. And there are many explanations. The one I use is that I can remember that I can be present, you know. So in a moment when I'm not present, you know, I'm completely wandering in my thoughts, for example. Now thought comes, okay, I could be present, so I remember. And that is the way how I can go to some sort of real inner freedom, I would say.
Just build on that as I pass it over just very quickly, and just adding to that the term bhavana, which means cultivation. So this idea of seed and growing, that you're cultivating this thing, that you're continually tending to it, like you would a garden, this awareness.
Yeah, you just took it from my mouth.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, just expand on it.
Yes,
no, it's bhavana. It's the old Asian or Pali word for meditation. So it's the development, cultivation of mindfulness. That's the way to do it. Not only mindfulness, but one of the crucial faculties is the mindfulness that it already have, but it's better to be developed. To get to the insights, to more understanding, etc. And one way, I also this way is also explained, or the mind is explained, is the monkey mind. So you probably heard it. You know, a monkey mind is jumping from one place to the other, you know, without any control whatsoever. Quite often, have you experienced this?
No.
Yeah, after some bhavana, it's getting a little bit better, probably. So we are, you know, one way to look at this, you know, this process and this cultivation is like taming the monkey. The monkey that lives there, maybe more control. Or we can see it even as another animal, like a horse. So if we are riding a horse, like our mind, that's not tamed, that we cannot control whatsoever. It sometimes could be quite tricky and difficult, you know. So it's better to get control of it and to tame it, and that's the way to do it. To get somewhere where we want. Take us there.
So thank you for this mindfulness conference. I find a lot of tips from different workshops. Thank you very much for organizing this. And my question is, do you know any situation when mindfulness is harmful? Like there's too much mindfulness, which is totally useless and you shouldn't practice or do mindfulness?
I think it's a great question and something to be aware of. I think in the first few years of mindfulness becoming popular, we didn't hear that question, and now we're hearing it more. And there are people doing research on this as well and keeping some kind of records on this. So, can mindfulness be harmful in that way? I don't know. I think my personal belief is that if you have some kind of trauma or some psychosis and it's inside of you and it's developing, it is very possible that sitting quietly in a room and trying to stop your monkey mind is the last thing that you should do. That it may not actually help you at that time. And it could even be that because you're trying to sit very quietly and everybody else is looking like they're comfortable, you feel even worse because everyone looks beautiful and quiet. You don't know what's happening with them, but you've got so much going on. You could have something triggered. It's by the quietness. It's possible. Now, and maybe in the long run, that's still a good thing because something's going to come out anyway, and better perhaps in a safe place. But I think there are times when it's not good for people to just force themselves to sit still. In general, from the work that I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that it cause a problem for somebody. And in fact, I do think sometimes we try to say too much about stopping the mind from wandering. That may be a problem. I think we have to be investigate a little bit more. What does it mean to have a mind that wanders? Is it always a bad thing? And sometimes it's okay to have a mind that wanders. It's not doing any harm. It may be very creative, maybe giving some insight, maybe just letting it go. And if you try to stop it too much, then that can be a problem. So people have the wrong idea that you're trying to stop the mind from wandering. In fact, we're just observing it and letting it go. But it's true that harmful thoughts, when we notice those, we don't want to stay with that. We want to come back to the body and the breath in a way. But I do think that there is some research happening at the Max Planck Institute in Leipzig on the mind at rest. There hasn't been a lot of research on that. So when the mind is just sitting, doing nothing, what does it do? It thinks. It tries to do some housekeeping. It thinks about the future. That's not necessarily a bad thing. We don't want to name it as a bad thing. Some of that is actually natural housekeeping. It's when it's causing a problem to us, when it's leading us into anxiety or depression, that then we have to be more careful about where the mind is going, I think.
Yeah, and another way how to look at it, sometimes this mindfulness cultivation or even training is compared to fitness training. So in a quite a big degree, it's very fit. It's very similar. So if you take a fitness training, but you don't know what you're doing, or your trainer, your coach is not doing what he's doing, and it could be dangerous, such as and especially if you are somehow unstable psychologically. So then you have to be really careful.
There is also one thing to be added, I guess. It can be dangerous while it is misunderstood. And the way how mindfulness becomes really cool today, and everybody wants to practice it, and also everybody wants to be a teacher, and also to make a great, nice business, then there is quite a big issue which has been discussed worldwide today, and it's called mindfulness, meaning that the mindfulness is sometimes sold as a fast food solution to stress and problems and bigger productivity, effectivity, and I think it's good to help people, but it's also good to remember that real practice requires some time, energy, effort, patience, and it simply cannot be cultivated by, I don't know, by just 1 minute a day, or by just buying a t-shirt, I'm mindful, or listening to a few minutes of recordings and then becoming a teacher doing nice business. So sometimes it's better to be slow in the development. And traditional texts, and what's also happening today in the interventions, they always promote that cultivation of mindfulness needs to go in hand with cultivation of morality, ethics, and compassion in order to not just becoming super attentive and aware psychopath. As for example, Matthew Ricard told me, like a really advanced practitioner and researcher. So if we don't want to create more like mindful super business psychopaths, we need to also develop like compassion and loving kindness. So I think this is another issue according to the quality of mindfulness and appropriateness.
What I would like to add that it is really important to distinguish between mindfulness as a quality of mind, as a skill, and there is never enough of this ability or skill. You can never enough really know what's going on with you, because this gives you balance, because you know what's the best at the moment to do. For example, if you are too nervous, your mind is too busy, perhaps it's not the best for you to sit and observe your breath. You can go and run or do exercise or whatever else. So mindfulness tells you what's the most appropriate action right now. But the other thing is cultivation or practice of mindfulness. And then, of course, some practices perhaps are not appropriate for some people. For example, there are contraindications for some people to enter the 8-week MBSR course, like acute dependence on or alcohol abuse, or acute psychosis, or acute suicidal tendencies, and so on.
I'm really sorry, my friends, but the time is up. It went quite fast, this discussion. So, once again, I would really like to thank you for coming here and sharing with us your skills, knowledge, and wisdom. Thank you for all hard work you do. Also, I would like to call our teams now to the station. Please come here. To the stage. Sorry.
Station. Train is leaving.
I know you did really hard work, so thank you very much. And at the very end, real thanks to you who were so strong to be there at the till end of the day. It's been really long. Yeah. Respect to you. Yeah. And for the very end, I would like to ask you for one small little thing. If we can just, right now in the silence, for a few moments, to discover how do we feel at the end of this day and what this really gave to me. No matter whether you gained or released something. And right now, if we can just think about anyone in our life, one person or more people, who could take a benefit from it, who could take advantage of what we sort of cultivated here. So if we can just think about them and send them a little bit of support from this moment, so they can also eat the fruits which we have right now. Okay, thank you very much, and may you and all people around you are happy. Tak přátelé, přežili jsme to. Díky moc.